Sean, we talk a lot about how things like the so-called race to the bottom are impacting the margins of integrators, but what are some steps integrators can take to increase both the efficiency and profitability of video system installations and projects today?
You know, that's actually a great question. It's a challenge like today in the environment that we're in, where everybody's looking to try to provide more value and also to realize the margins that they need to stay in business, right? And as we become more efficient as a society, there's more pressure on people like integrators to also follow that trend. And so it's important for us as suppliers to design our products with that in mind, and we do a lot of that, a lot of UX, not only just for how the customer uses our products, but also how the integrators and installers have to put our products in together. A really big part of that too is they spend a lot of time, what we found out in talking to them, in setting projects up, getting them ready to deploy and deploying to the field. It turns out it's an incredibly manual process, takes a lot of time, and in some cases some very high valued labor to do it. So one of the things we've done actually here recently at Bosch is we're releasing a new project assistance software, and it's kind of what the name describes. It's to assist our installers, our integrators, in the project they will of deploying a new system. Right? So it starts all the way at the beginning of them when they design the project, the layout, the field of views that they want. They'll actually create a project in the system even before they've ever even ordered a camera. And they can actually change the cameras as maybe the needs change or as they discover new requirements throughout. And here's where really the big time saving comes in. When they order product in the past, it would arrive on a pallet, how many they need. They would literally unbox all of the cameras at a station, way station that they would have, go through, address them, update the firmware one by one, just like going down the line, right? It takes a lot of time, right? You also got to make sure you order the right thing, everything showed up that you need. What we're able to do is they can leave everything boxed up, and actually if the pallet's organized correctly, they can leave it on the pallet, and they can literally say that that camera is now going to be associated at this point in my project, scan it, locks it into their system, and now they've associated those two. In the barcode is the MAC address of that product. And it's going to associate that specific MAC address into the system. So when the system now goes and gets deployed in the field and the power comes on, we now know what the MAC address is. And now you can push IP address. It understands the firmware that should be there. All the specifics, passwords, everything you want is all wrapped up in a nice little bow for them. If you think about this went from being a multiple day project just on the receiving and identifying products and updating firmware to less than a few hours. So it's a huge saving, and the larger the project, the bigger percentage of savings that happens.
Sean, aside from eroding margins, what are some of the other trends impacting integrators from a video surveillance perspective?
Well, one of the really big things is that labor itself is becoming more expensive, right? And especially the highly educated labor that they have. So what they ideally want to do is be able to maximize the use of the less expensive labor that they have and minimize the use of the more expensive. So one of the trends that we're starting to see is they're pushing more of the responsibility on the same people that would say, just hang the cable on the wall, to also hang the cameras and be able to associate them correctly. The other thing that you need to be able to do is then take those expensive people and hopefully be able to have them set in place from like their home office or a corporate location. They don't have to travel anymore, right? So you're getting more efficiency out of those guys. One of the last things that goes into this is creating more value. So a lot of the integrators now are looking into the system and saying, what can I now do with, now I have some more time, more bandwidth of my people and my resources to allow them to give more value to the end customer. And this usually turns in, for us, analytics and other things that they can now add efficiency into their customer's business and get that same type of efficiency gain that we're talking about now.
And when you look at the overall market landscape and the evolution of technology such as artificial intelligence, what do you believe integrators need to be doing now to prepare to be successful in what's become this ever-evolving video surveillance business?
Sure. So analytics, artificial intelligence, IoT, all these things have been coming up quite a bit, right? So if you think about it, they first, I think, really need to embrace it, right? There's been this pushback, and it comes from a bit of a history of this industry and analytics. There was a lot of hype. A lot of people oversold it. A lot of people now become uncomfortable with it. But I think we're at a stage now where the technology is here, the processing power is here, the analytics have matured over time, that they are truly useful and they do provide a lot more value to their end users. So there's going to become a need for them to be more educated in this space. They need to understand what it can do, more importantly, what it can't do. They need to position it with their customers well. They also need to understand that the value of these things may not necessarily reside in true security applications. You could also provide value in operations and efficiency there. You can provide value to the marketing and selling of the product, and it doesn't really matter the industry. I have a retail setup behind me, and that's an easy push through when you say marketing, but it can very easily also be marketing of commercial like office space, right? So you have to really think about that and put yourself in the shoes of those end users and what you really need to do. And I think that's really the next step that we're going to need to see these integrators take, to just really embrace it as they go forward.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.